Okay, this is a chapter 2, Annie, and chapter 2 is kind of confusing because if you notice, as you read in the textbook, there's a bunch of terms like summarizing, clarifying, um, that restating are very, very close. So you're going to have to really look at the differences. So I would look at that, the leadership skills thing that I put on handouts in chapter 2 because it has the top 16 and see if you can figure out the differences. But let's go start at the chapter. You should never ask a group member to say or do anything that you wouldn't do yourself. So uh, if you don't, you're not going to ask a group member, "Did you smoke when you're in college? Did you smoke marijuana?" If you don't want that question asked to you, so you don't do anything that you wouldn't do yourself. You can't ask any group member to do anything you wouldn't do yourself. The qualities of leadership basically are self-explanatory. Um, I mean, as you go through those, yeah, they got to be fair, they got to be aware, and things of that nature. I'm going to point out a couple of them, the major ones. For instance, the book talks the word presence. A group leader needs to be there, caring and reflecting, being emotionally active, uh, being calm, non-emotional, be like a coach. That's present, the being in the here and now. The other is personal power, the ability of empowerment. Personal power means you are equal to the members, but you use your power for growth. You don't use your power to dominate. And then there's self-disclosure. And there's a lot of issues with self-disclosure. The main issue is how much do you reveal to the group, as well as what to reveal, because you just want to say everything, and when to review it, because sometimes it's a good time and sometimes it's not. So one of the hardest issues, especially for beginning group leaders, is self-disclosure. Now, for instance, the group should know your values, but you shouldn't put your values on the group. So when I say as you know, I'm a Democrat, but I shouldn't be pushing Democratic over Republican ideas in my lectures. You know where I'm coming from, but I shouldn't force those on you. Um, and when you self-disclose, it's important that you do, again, you're in the here and now. Um, there's got to be reasons before you self-disclose. There's got to be reasons why you self-disclose. So if somebody's talking about breaking up with somebody, how hard it was. I mean, you could say, "Yeah, well, that happened to me," blah blah blah, so you are connecting with the client. Readiness of the members. You might be on a time frame, so the members may be not ready for it yet. Um, the impact of self-disclosure. Some of the stuff you may say may hurt somebody. Talking about in a group and you're talking about, I don't wear a mask, I don't think they're good, and then somebody in the group had lost somebody to COVID-19. Oops, you got a problem there. And then it's got to be relevant to the situation. You just don't go on and start talking about some kind of story that has nothing to do with what the group's talking about. The other quality, and probably the most important quality, is active listening. That involves nonverbal and verbal cues. Some people you've talked to, and through the body language, they're not listening. So you have to develop nonverbal and verbal cues to let people know that you're actually listening to what they're saying. You don't have to agree with them, but you should listen to their side of the story. Now, again, I gave you the facilitated responses for Chapter 1. In Chapter 2, there's 50 of these things, terminating, blocking, clarifying. I mean, and a lot of them are very close to each other. So on the test, you're going to get some of these, and on the Chapter 2 quiz, you're going to see a couple of these, and you're going to see how difficult it is sometimes because the fact is some of these are so close. So that's going to be hard for most of the students to be able to differentiate these. But as we go on, they'll make more and more sense. The last thing is how leaders differ from a short term group like task orientation or psychoeducational versus psychotherapeutic, which is long term. So a group leaders do different things in the short term and long term groups. One, in a short term group, the leader has to be active, more active. In a long term, you try to get the clients to be more active. In a short term, you got to be very conscious of time because you only have a certain amount of time. And in a psychotherapeutic, you got a lot of time, so you're not so much time or urgent. You have to be issue oriented more in short psychoeducational or task group than psychotherapeutic. You have an issue, but you don't have to be totally oriented. And you wanted to relate more to everyday life, and in the long term, you can kind of spread that over time. And whatever, now there's 11 different theories of counseling in the textbook. We're going to cover 6, maybe 7. I don't know if we have time. 7, but 6. And you need to select the one that best fits your personality. Because we have some people in our class who are very non-controversial, can't take confrontations. I finally said, well, you can't do Gestalt because that's based on confrontation. Or REBT has a lot of confrontation. But you can do humanistic or psychodrama or things of that nature. So choose one that best fits you. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you.